This is a graphics card. We're going to be installing it into a computer. It's not very fancy. It's got a HDMI port, a VGA port, DVI-D port. That's the fan to keep it cool. Now, as you might be able to see, this is actually for PCIe X16. That means it needs to go into a PCIe X16 slot. Now if we go over here, there are 3 slots on the motherboard capable of holding this. This blue slot, this white slot, and this black slot. Now the black slot, the motherboard specs say it actually runs at X8 and not X16. That means it won't be as fast, it'll be half the speed. Now that's good if you're running multiple graphics cards, because then you can still use 3 graphics cards linked together and it won't really affect the speed as much. We're going to be installing it into the blue slot because, as you can tell, the I/O shield over here has been removed. That's because there was already an expansion card here. It's no longer here. We're going to be installing this component. It means less dust gets into the machine if we put this here instead of using another slot. So, first thing we want to do is the line. Like so. Now, we've got to push until this blue clip over here is over this bit of circuitry that isn't being used. It's actually a piece of chipset. Don't know if you can see it very well. So all we do is we push down until you hear it over here. Just flick it over, like so, until you hear the click. And then you need to screw the component in. There's a screw here for that. Now if you look above, this case actually has some special holes for installing an expansion card. It makes it easier when you have a long screwdriver, such as this, for you to be able to get it into the case without much fuss. So you put it through the hole, like so. You line your screw. And you screw it. You've got to make sure the screw is actually over the I/O shield of the expansion card, in this case the graphics card, and you screw until it's nice and tight, like so. There. Now you test if it's wobbling around. This isn't, so it's installed correctly. The next thing we do is we actually turn on the computer system and install the drivers. Now to do this, we use these ports here for actually plugging in the monitor. If we were to use the motherboard ports, they would not work because the motherboard reads the graphics card and it will no longer use its own ports. It will use the graphics card port.